24 del encuentro. Y aquí mejor movimiento en el centro de la cancha. Oportunidad para Houston. ¡Viene el disparo! ¡Gol! ¡Gol! De Delaney Sheehan. Un golazo aquí en el 23. Y con eso la ventaja para Houston. Entonces, ojo con el zurdazo que tiene. Aquí, organizándose, hablando de ella, Avery Patterson. ¡Gol!
What's up, H-Town and all around? You know the mug, you know the face. I am OSG. You're in the Foxtrot studios, and this is the Dash Dispatch, the podcast. And tonight in the studios, a little bit different. Foxtrot is busy. The dynamic Foxtrot is busy, but I got an old friend, an old buddy in here, Herman. I like to call him Herman Dynalytico, but Herman, Deporte Total USA, German Benitez. Thank you for jumping in. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, OSG. Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor, and I'm a big fan of the project, the branch of Foxtrot covering the Houston Dash, the Dash Dispatch. It's an honor to be here.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. You had the opportunity of going to the game the other day, so I was like, let's just take the opportunity. Let's rehash it out. We're missing one tonight, so perfect opportunity. So I'm glad you're available because I did give you short notice. But I was like, man. So, yes. So we got a little bit of an easy one. As y'all know, Dash is still on a break this week or on the NWSL break. We do have a couple players off on international duty. We are still practicing. We obviously had a scrimmage. We have a scrimmage coming up. We'll talk about the transfers a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So we're going to try to breeze through this real quick, make it simple. I got some questions for Herman here because I want to hear his perspective from his side of the stadium. But let's get into it. International duty, as I previously said. Michelle Olozia in Nigeria are participating in the women's AFCON. They've won that tournament 10 times, and this is a pretty big tournament. Their group play, I'm going to call it pretty simple. They have, Michelle Olozia and Nigeria have played 3 games already. They did win the first 2, one against Tunisia, 3-0, one against Botswana, 1-0, and then against Algeria, the final game where they had already advanced through, they drew 0-0 and won the group, so they take the group with 7 points. Algeria takes second place in the group. Michelle Olozia started the first 2 games as right back for Nigeria, played the full 90 minutes in the first 2 games, and was rested in the third game, didn't see the field in the third game. Their quarterfinal will be on Friday, July 18th against Zambia, who finished in second place in their group, but had a good tournament, so this is going to be a good game right here. Of course, as you know, you can see these games on BN, again, Friday, and that's a quarterfinal match, so it's an elimination game. Michelle Olozia in Nigeria. Moving on, I'm pretty sure, Herman, you don't get to follow through with the women's game, but it's fun to see some of these tournaments over there that they're playing. They're real tournaments. And Nigeria is a threat over there. They've won 10 tournaments, but Michelle Olozia for us does not get a lot of playing time with the Dash. I mean, she does, but she's coming off the bench over there. She's a starting right back and has been for a while. She's a forward for us pretty much and not used as that right back up here. So it's kind of, she goes both ways. So I don't know if you get to see the difference where she plays a right back for her country, but plays forward for her club.
It's kind of is kind of backwards. A couple years ago in the men's side, for Bayern Munich, the Canadian, not Canadian, David Alaba, he was like a wingback for Bayern Munich, but he was like an attacking up front for his national team, you know?
It is weird. It's kind of like Dorsey, started right wing, went backwards, but this one's kind of the opposite. She's starting in the back, but going forward. But I know she's versatile. So if Fabrice can just use her properly, and we'll see what happens when we go back into the second half of the season. All right, moving on. Barb Olivieri is also playing with Venezuela, and they're starting the Women's Copa America. Their group has 5 teams in it, and
Mm.
they get to play 4 group games. They just started. Tonight is Monday night as we're recording. They played last night on Sunday against Brazil, Tarciana and Brazil, and Marta, and plenty of other NWSL players that play for Brazil. Tough match to open up the tournament. Venezuela did all right. Barb played 84 minutes, but Brazil ended up winning 2-0. So, unfortunate for Venezuela. Their next match is against a very tough Colombia. Venezuela was predicted, Herman, just for context, to probably be third in this group of 5. So they needed to try to draw or defeat Brazil or draw or defeat Colombia to try to find their way into the top 2 of this group and get out and make it into the quarterfinals. But they play their next game on Wednesday, July 16th versus Colombia, as I mentioned a minute ago. But Barbara Oliveira in Venezuela, she's playing her natural position like she plays for the dash. So it's good to see her over there, but she's not available for us right now. But I'm okay with that. When she comes back, she'll be ready to go because she'll still be fit, man. These are on FS1, by the way. These are a lot easier to watch for y'all. So y'all catch them. They're on FS1. They're good games. Like I said, the Brazil versus Venezuela was a good watch last night. I kind of watched it over Dose versus North Texas, so kind of telling on myself, but I was following my dash player and just having a good time with the women's soccer anyways. I don't know if you wanted to comment
Did
on that with Bone.
Yeah, I had a question for you. Did Barb go up against a former teammate on the back line of Brazil, or
Not head to head. I'm sure
okay?
they kind of ran across each other during the game at some point because Barb, attacks the goal and she's inside the
Mm-hmm.
box. But yeah, Tarsi, I'm pretty sure she was not on that left side, and Barb was on the right side. So they were there, but yeah, nothing to write home about and tell the dash about. Oh man, so that's pretty much it. As I said, they got their next game coming up, so y'all look forward to the schedule, and also as the Dash Dispatch, the newsletter comes out, you'll see the schedule there, so you can follow along. It's written down there, so you don't have to try to remember as I tell you here. Check out the Dispatch, the newsletter later. It'll be out when you listen to this, as a matter of fact. All right, moving on. Her mom. You got to go to Shell Energy Stadium. I'm glad you got to go. This was on a friggin' Tuesday night, so
Yeah.
unfortunately I was not able to go. There was a lot of people missing at work, so I kind of was like, I can't miss anyways. But, you get during this break, this is a scrimmage. Monterrey is in their preseason. They're in preseason, so I was going to say preseason form, but
Correct.
obviously preseason form. They're in preseason right now, so they're getting prepared for their season. We are in mid-season form as we're taking our break, so there's a little context for that. As the game happened, 4-0 for the Houston Dash. Every Houston Dash fan, I guarantee you, was surprised. Was surprised by this outcome and by the performance of this game. So, before we get even deeper into it, in the starting lineup, just give me your initial thoughts to it. It's your first time going to a Dash game in in a few months. I think you went to another one prior to this season, but tell me what your
Right.
initial thoughts was going into this game and what you were expecting from this game before it even happened.
It's like you said. So what I was expecting, Rayadas is a big club in Mexico. Uh, I was expecting a competitive, and I truthfully was expecting Rayadas to take this game. Truthfully. And then in the crowd, I was expecting to see like a overwhelming majority of Monterrey fans, and even though they were the majority, it wasn't overwhelming. It was like a 60-40, I would argue.
Okay.
So that was good to see. But no, I was impressed by the dash. Forget the score. It's more about what you see on the pitch, and the fact that they were able to dictate, and control the game was very, very impressive to me.
That's friggin' awesome to hear. Even as we were watching it, if you weren't at the game, we were lucky enough for it to be the stream. Deportes Nation streamed the game, and
Mhm.
even though I didn't understand 85% of it, I still enjoyed the broadcast and still got to enjoy Laura and oh God, why am I forgetting his name right now? uh, man,
I
Gwen,
can see his friendly face.
Alex. No, sorry, Alex. Sorry, Alex. Alex Barr
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Laura Gomez with the broadcast. I enjoyed it. I even told them afterwards. I made sure to tweet them out and tell them that I enjoyed the broadcast. I was, able to keep up. I didn't get to hear this. I didn't get to keep up with the storylines. Obviously, that's a little bit harder for me, but I was still able to keep up with the game and enjoy the game. And then, of course, he's a great announcer, and his vibe and his energy is always fun to hear, and especially when you're going through the goals. As we'll get to hear the goals here shortly in this episode, so you'll hear his voice in the background too, because those videos I took from the Houston Dash, and it looks like they kind of collabed with the two together to make those videos of the goals. So you'll get to hear it, you'll get to see them if you're watching on YouTube, those goals, and you'll get a quick reminders. But starting lineup, nobody was. We were kind of, he said Fabrice said he wanted to win, so we were kind of expecting some different things, hoping somebody was going to start like Rebecca. We did get Rebecca finally started her very first time. We get to see her on the pitch, period. This is the first time, which is kind of weird because she's not on loan. We signed her for 3 years. So very first minute, so excited to see what she could bring onto the field. And then Alyssa Chapman, coming back from injury, gets her first start of the season, so she's getting minutes back. Later in the game, Zoe Matthews comes on the field, I think in the 63rd minute. So she gets her first minutes of the season, so that was exciting to see for her. We got one more scrimmage, so hopefully they will get a lot more minutes. But as far as the lineup, there was nothing out of the ordinary to throw out there. Besides, you get to see these players finally. Campbell and Smith both each played a half in the goalkeeper situation. So Fabrice is still leaving us in the air as to who our number one goalkeeper is. No clue. But it's fun to see these players getting minutes and getting time, and that's what we want to do, because we want to see what they can do, and Fabrice needs to see what they can do, man. But as I mentioned, let's get into it. The game was fun. Herman, I know you had to be entertained, at least in the second half for the most part. First half was probably a little bit slower, but you still got a goal. You still got some excitement going back and forth. It looked like, on my perspective, the Dash were the better team. And like I said, Monterrey was in preseason form. And to tell you the truth, I don't know their team and couldn't tell you if those were their starters that were starting, or did they have a complete blend mix, or were they not even playing their starters? I don't know what Monterrey gave us, but as you mentioned, you got into the game, you saw the goals, the build up. How'd the first half feel to you as that game started off in the first 15 minutes of it?
So to me, it felt like expected, Monterrey trying to dictate, and then the Dash started taking over. That's the summary of the first 15 minutes. A key event, and you're gonna help me with the name. We had an injury to start the game right off the bat.
Oh yeah, it was brain farts tonight.
Uh-oh. Anyways, I asked Fabrice after the game for an update, and he obviously didn't have one. I was hoping it was something
Oh,
minor, but no.
Westfall got hurt. Westfall.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We
Sorry.
we saw her in a boot and some crutches after the game in the locker room. So hoping for a speedy recovery and nothing serious there.
That's not a good sign when you see you're in crutches in a boot.
Yeah. Agreed.
Well, I guess that's a benefit that Alyssa Chapman comes back at good timing. So you lose one, but you gain one, and that's not how you typically want to do it. You want to gain both and keep everybody healthy. So, unfortunately, I hope you're right. Speedy recovery, and the boot and the crutches was precaution. So I guess we'll have to get a recap later and find out what the actual injury is as we get updated. But like you said, Monterrey took over, kind of started the game in favor, and then Dash kind of took over, and then there you are in the 24th minute. it was kind of created out of the midfield and then just opened the
Mm-hmm.
space up, and Delaney Sheehan just takes a nice banger, or we'll call it a rocket, and puts it in the back of the net and starts the goal scoring opening, or we'll just say opens the game up 1-0. And from your perspective, how did you see it as it played out with Sarah Putnam starting that to Sheehan?
Yeah, I think you summarized it perfect. So it's kind of showing you the quality of your midfielders, right? Those type of goals are of midfield maestros. You know, they put that extra touch, that finesse. They're trying to curl it to a certain side of the net, and it worked out perfect. Like that's a high quality goal in my opinion. Shows you the quality of the player, and what you said. Goals change games, and that goal, even though the Dash didn't score more in the first half, it gave them the confidence to kind of start believing that they can win this thing. They can start dominating, and they started taking over to end that first half, and it translated to start the second half.
Man, it was like you said, from us, a fan that watches every game and follows the team avidly, and it was different. We've seen instances of the attack that we were giving right there, and the defenses just made mistakes, kind of like you see with the Dynamo, where they put themselves in trouble and then give up a goal. And it was just nice to see. Even in the first half, it was just nice to see what the Dash were out there putting on the field and putting on the pitch together, and it looked like they believed in each other. And I think they know they only have 2 games left before Fabrice has to get this team under control, and are we going to make a run for the playoffs, or are we just going to continue to try to build our tactics, build our what we're learning and what we're training, or is this season going to be a wash? So uh, I think they know that. I think it's time. So it's exciting that they're playing well. We've got a bunch of players that are taking notice amongst the NWSL, amongst the fandom. Maggie Graham, Yasmin Ryan, Avery Patterson, obviously. It's crazy. You can actually have a list now for the Houston Dash, and it's fun. So, as you mentioned, we 1-0 going into the half. Continue on, and I think Fabrice, you didn't see, or from my perspective, I don't know if you did. I didn't see much change to start the second half when typically
Mm-mm.
we do in our typical regular season games. But I think it's because what you said earlier is the Dash had already established kind of control and momentum, and they were taking the game to Monterrey, so there wasn't much to change. Just continue what you're doing, and continue that push and continue that press, and see what happens out of it. And then, like you were talking to me off air, Avery Patterson subs in and then does what Avery friggin' Patterson does. She is just a superstar overnight. And this isn't going to be
Yeah.
15 minutes of fame either. She is going to be a star for years to come. How long can we keep Avery Patterson is now the question for the Houston Dash. But goal number 2, bro, not only was it just Avery Patterson, it came from her U.S. national women's team teammate and her Houston Dash teammate, Yasmin Ryan, who gets the assist. So Yasmin Ryan is starting to heat up as well, man. So
Mm-hmm.
that play, I think, happened right in front of you, if I remember the
Yes.
TV perspective correct. So yeah, man, take me through that play. That had to be exciting, especially going up 2-0 right there at that point, and Avery Patterson
Oh,
coming on the field right there.
absolutely. And this is beautiful attacking soccer, in my opinion. You have a teammate kind of make a run into the box, kind of pulling center backs, if that's the word. And
Right.
Yasmin sees Patterson coming, making that run into the edge of the box. So she's kind of facing the first runner, but knows where she's going to put the ball on a silver platter for her teammate to come and just pass it into the goal. And again, it's not how hard you hit a ball, it's where you place it and with the intent. And it's a superb finish. Again, quality. like you mentioned, OSG. What are they gonna do for the rest of the season? I don't know, but if I'm a Dash fan, I'm optimistic because you have a young nucleus, and like we've seen with young teams, all it takes is to get some confidence. And I feel like this game could be a confidence booster for them in terms of like, okay, this could be the catalyst. And that's what Patterson told us after the game. Hey, catalyst is the perfect word. We know where we are. We're not where we want to be, but tonight was a great start, and if we can keep building when Barb comes back, then we can start cooking some results and start stacking. They know the sense of urgency, and to me, it's fun to see this young nucleus being the core of the team because they're getting better every day, and confidence is scary because they don't know what they don't know.
Woo, man, once they break that barrier, man, they can be a dangerous team because there is like you
Mm-hmm.
said, that core, and it's an attacking core that's really strong, and you have some
Mm-hmm.
good defensive players. So, we got a few little options we can figure out and solidify a little bit better, but man, but as we move on now, we're up 2-0. You're still fighting through the game, and you're thinking Monterrey's going to have to turn it up, and now they're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
push a little bit. They're going to have to push to get back into the game. I don't think so, because what does our star do? 10 minutes after scoring a goal, does she puts a ball? Who puts the ball in the box on the third goal? Sorry, it's not Avery Patterson that puts the ball in the box. Someone
No,
puts the ball in the box, and it's why am I forgetting it? It's why am I forgetting he's even scored in the third goal? God.
that's the scrap. I call it the scrappy goal. It's Maggie Graham scored the third
Yeah.
goal.
Why did I
Yeah,
forget Maggie Graham again? A brain fart and super tonight.
but
But
it was like off a rebound from a original shot from Kiki.
right. Yes.
And to me, um, the first two goals were like beautiful, high quality, like elite play, But this third goal, even though it might not be aesthetically pleasing, it's the result of the momentum. It shows how dominant the Dash were being. Like you're in the opponent's box, creating chances, forcing rebounds, creating your own luck. And that's what happens. That's what happens when you're controlling tempo, when you're dictating the game. That's what's going to happen when you start living in the opponent's box. Opportunities like that.
Man, it was looking good, and it was looking like, man, it was surprising how we were able to keep it up against the opponent. Then going up 3-0. Now you really expect Monterrey to turn it up, or they're just going to bow down, lay down, and give up. They're preseason; they don't really care anyways. They're in training mode anyways. It doesn't matter the result, but they're getting their butt walloped and their butt kicked. And right before regulation ends, 87th minute, Kiki Van Zanten, who she's been shining since she's been getting her playing time in the recent month and a half, towards the back half here. Once she come back from her injury, got her Jamaica time in, came back, and she's been getting some minutes. She's been very involved. She scored a goal. Well, here you go. Here you go. She puts herself in the right place at the right time. And Miss Avery Patterson, I think, who just her vision, her knowledge, her game, her everything is just, it's hard to find a fault with Avery Patterson right now, but she puts a perfect ball into the box, right to the keeper, with a oncoming running attacker and Kiki Van Zanten, and Van Zanten wins the race, gets there right before the keeper gets to the ball, and puts one into the net. And it was, to me, it was, as you declared it, pretty, build up, nice play, IQ, knowledge. And as you said, why can't Ponce do this? But Kiki Van Zanten
Well,
gets it.
I'll tell you why. I will tell you why, because there are no Pattersons throwing through balls like that.
Right.
um, to me, the goal, the finish by Kiki was fantastic. Don't get me wrong. You got to be there and you got to make the play. But the through ball and outside the foot curler,
Oh yeah.
putting pressure on the goalkeeper, putting it in like no man's land is perfect. Like, there's a lot of, oh yeah, no. Yeah, there's a lot of emphasis on, pass accuracy and this and that. No, I much rather have a pass be intercepted, but put pressure on the defense like that pass did, because the keeper was caught in no man's land. She didn't know what to do, and Kiki, just a good striker, just took advantage of that pass.
Well, beautiful. That would be the final score, 4-0. And as you heard it, as you saw it, as y'all are hearing us review it, or if when you read the Dash Dispatch, the game review, the game recap that was written by the Houston Dash is going to be in that newsletter. Go recap it. Go watch it if the replay's still up. I haven't checked to see if the replay's still up, but that was a fun game, exciting game to watch. 4-0. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So, Herman, from the perspective again of an outside viewer, because you're not watching the NWSL season, so this game was kind of a like a new flavor of an ice cream for you to try out.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, man, it's kind of hard to ask this question. So the perspective of what was your perspective of the Houston Dash following this game and following this performance? How would you, where would you think they would be sitting in the standings in the NWSL out of 14 teams after watching that performance? And you kind of, maybe you do know where they're at, but maybe you don't. But
yeah, I do, but it's not where my answer is gonna be. I'm telling you, just based on that game, I'm telling you they're above that 7. They're in the top 7. Probably pushing for top 3. Just the way the team attacked. Now, that being said, I couldn't judge the defense because there was really no pressure. There was really no danger from the opposing team from Monterrey, so I can't tell you much about the defense. So much and so that we saw a teenager play left back. OSG came on like late in the second half.
I've been waiting for
So
her. Zoe Matthews.
yeah. So I can't judge the defense, but because they weren't pressured. They got the clean sheet, yes, but they weren't challenged. If that's the right word for a judgment, but attacking wise, it shows you the class of your midfielders. It shows you what type of midfielders you have, and in my humble opinion, the midfielder is what can dictate the game for you and control the game for you and can help you win in the long term.
Right, and you're kind of right. The defense didn't get to highlight themselves in this game. They weren't put under a lot of pressure, and credit to the midfield to controlling that game. And then, like you said, Rebecca, if I'm right, is only 19 years old. Maybe she's 20, and she got to start getting her first minutes. So it was good. It was good to see her getting time and actually looking decent and not making any mistakes. But like you said, the defense wasn't putting any pressure, was not put under any pressure. Zoe Matthews came in, like you said, left late in the game. I think it was 63rd minute. And as you said, played that left back. So that was curious. That was interesting to see because I know she's been training as center back. So I was kind of hoping to see her as center back, especially how physically big she is. And I know she can handle it, even though she's young. I wanted to see her there, but that's okay. She did okay there on the left back. I want to see more. We'll see how she does in the Carolina or in the next scrimmage. Speaking of, we have one more scrimmage scheduled before we return back to NWSL play, which will be this Sunday, July 20th at Houston Sports Park at 7 p.m. This game is open to season ticket holders for the Houston Dash. Have not heard any word if there's going to be any openings, if any other people can go to the game or whatever. Just find a ticket holder if you want to go. It's going to be a scrimmage at Sports Park. You'll need to bring your chair like you're going to a youth game because there's not going to be seats or bleachers set up or anything like that. It's just going to be a fun little scrimmage. I'm sure it may not even be 45-minute halves. Who knows? Who knows what you're going to get. You get to see the Dash play. You get to see the Dash play the Carolina Ascent from the USL League. And you just get to see your players play. And they continue as this will be their last build up. So, What did Fabrice mention in the press conference what to expect or what we're looking forward to towards this Carolina aspect game? Can we take anything from this Monterrey game? Did he even mention the Carolina game?
Not at all. Not at
No.
all. Yeah, not at all. Just mentioned how he was happy to see a lot of the players get playing time. That was really important to him. That was the message after the game, and he was happy about the result for sure and how the team played, but didn't put too much on it. He's like, okay, we gotta keep stacking. We gotta keep stacking. This is just the first block. So those were the two messages uh, after the game following Monterrey. And then my question to you is, um, for the sake of good communication on our end to the fans, when you say Houston Sports Park, you're not talking about the SaberCat Stadium. You're actually talking about the training pitch, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. No, not Sabercat Stadium. It is going to be the practice facility. They're going to be their actual practice field. Will probably be the Dynamo's practice field, actually, to tell you the truth. But this Houston
Yeah.
Sports Park, yes, not same place,
Yeah.
just not the same
Right.
field.
Some people hear Houston Sports Park and think, oh yeah, the stadium, the
Yeah.
SaberCat Stadium,
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
definitely going to be on the field. Like I said, you're going to have to bring a lawn chair because there is no bleachers, there are no chairs there. They're going to just open the gates and let you in, and then you get to sit down on the side of the field and enjoy the game and hang out with the fans. And then I'm sure you're going to get plenty of autographs after the game if you bring stuff to sign. So get out there and have fun. It's kind of a members enjoy moment. And then we get back to business after this game. So, so bring it on, man. Herman, anything else you want to talk about versus Monterrey or what to expect versus Carolina before we move on to the last little topic as we're flying through this show?
Yeah, no, the weather wasn't a factor in my opinion. The whole day it was raining leading up to the game. At game time it kind of stopped raining per se, no thundering. So it wasn't hot is where I'm trying to get at. It sucked for the fans because you're debating, is it gonna rain? Should we go or not? But in terms of heat was not a factor. It was humid, but it wasn't it wasn't the typical, oh, it's July in Houston, it's gonna be hot as heck.
Right. Well, that's good because it's definitely hotter times, and we're getting there's a lot of rainy weather, a lot of treacherous weather, some flooding in Central Texas here, and then Houston, when it rains a lot, it floods over there real easy as well too. So everybody just keep a boat afloat and be ready for it. But you either get heat or you get rain right now. So I don't know which one you want. But all right, man. Moving on to the last little topic today, and it's transfer updates, something we do every week where we just go out there and look at free agents or transfers that we're high wishing for and going and looking after and trying to manifest to happen. And then there's a few names out there, but I need to get to one name that was available out there that we just kind of mentioned again was going to be a reach, but we kind of knew where this person was looking at, and then it came through. So Mia Fischel has signed with the Seattle Reign through 2029 and is off the board. So she will be making some good money over there. Congratulations to her. You will not be a Houston Dash player.
Let's speak something else into existence, OSG. Give us another name to speak into existence.
Yeah. Well, we're working on it. So, just some context for you, just some names that we're going through before I ask you a question. It is Kat Macario that plays for Chelsea, who plays for the U.S. women's national team, but technically currently does not play for the U.S. women's national team. She plays for Chelsea. She's not getting a lot of minutes over at Chelsea, though they have a lot of forwards, and it seems like she's on the back burner over there. She has 1 year left on her contract, so you would think a transfer would be feasible. Also, your U.S. women's national Emma Hayes has said that she wants domestic players to come to the U.S. camp and play for her U.S. team, and she proved that in the last camp in the 2 games against Ireland, and then the third game against Canada. She proved that. She only had one player that plays overseas right now, and that actually plays for Chelsea, and that is Germa. All the rest of them were NWSL players or domestic players. Were NWSL players, I'm pretty sure, or just played in pretty damn close to where they're available to get to those camps pretty quick and pretty easy. That was one. Another one is Rashida Abadaji, who plays for Real Madrid, or actually played for Real Madrid. She is now a free agent and has said that she will not choose her next team until she is done with the women's Afghan tournament. She plays for Nigeria, and Michelle Lozia is sitting in the same hotel, on the same floor, in the same locker room, on the same pitch with her right now. So we kind of sent a message to Michelle via Dispatch. Bring her back with you when this tournament's over. After y'all win it, you bring her back. So trying to manifest. There's a couple other names that we shout out there, but so we are manifesting. We have heard that we are looking for 1 to 2 players to bring in, but we have been trying to manifest a stud striker, a superstar striker, to come in and take that role right there at the 9. And we think that's the position that will put this team in the very, very, over the top. Defense will still be susceptible a little bit, but we've been having trouble scoring goals, and we're missing a striker. Messiah Wright is doing a good job, but she's not your starting striker that you want to see out there. You've been using Yasmin Ryan as that striker, but you want to see her playing in a different position in the camp sometimes too. Yeah, so get that striker. So I ask you, Angela, Tim Howard, Jessica O'Neill, from what you've seen from them, even on the Dynamo side of the front office, but from what you've seen, from what you can tell, how high can the bar be set for the fans to expect us to reach? Not saying that it's going to happen, but can you can the Houston Dash reach that bar? Not, or are we limited to how far we can reach?
I don't want to sell any smoke, but given my history, I've been able to chat with Tim Howard in pressers and offline, and the vibe. That's the only thing I can report, right? What I sense, right?
Right.
What I sense when I speak with Daddy Ted, with Tim Howard, and with Jessica is that they value the Dynamo and the Dash in the same category. It's not like they underlook the Dash. Like, the Dash is clearly important to them. To all three. Like, you can sense that speaking with them. In my opinion, the only reason a star player like that doesn't come to the Dash is because they don't want to come to Houston. As in, like, other factors. Like, money won't be a factor. Is the vibe I get when I speak with these 3 people independently. So I'm not trying to sell smoke, but I know for a fact that the Dash matters to management. Now, there may be other factors, externally, but I'm talking from a sports performance point of view. They want to see this team get better.
All right, well, that's why we said Rashida. She plays for Nigeria, played for Real Madrid. She's used to the weather either way, so maybe you do like Houston. She's going to be with Alozia, so there's a tie right there. Kat Macario, you have 2 U.S. women's national players on this current team that you could build a mold with your U.S. women's national team as well. If you come to the Dash and then Gemma Hayes says, hey, yeah, come on to the U.S. camp. And then you've got Avery Patterson and Yasmin Ryan right there. You got a Maggie Graham playing on the U23s right below you. You have a Zoe Matthews playing on the U18s, maybe the U20s soon enough. So you've got some U.S. women national team talent right there that you can build a core with, and pretty much, man, you bring your chemistry to your U.S. women's national camp. So that's what I'm saying. So that's why we're saying it makes sense. Just can we make it happen and make it manifest? And you're selling it, not selling it. You're not blowing smoke. You're just saying it's possible that we could reach and we could do, and we shouldn't be limited to anything. So, hey, I'm out there, and we'll see what Angela can do. It's been quiet on our end. We have not heard any rumors going on with the Houston Dash right now. The window is open. So, we'll see. Yeah, to me, that says Rasheedat Abajadi. It's quiet because she's not going to do nothing until after this tournament. So, hello. Whatever we can get. Need something strong. But then you got some free agents that we might have to replace after the season. We talked about that in the last episode. None of those free agents, those 5 free agents that we mentioned for the Dash, have made any inklings out there if they're going to leave or if they're going to stay. So we'll keep an eye on those. If something happens or something comes out, we'll let y'all know. But Herman, I think that's pretty much it, man. We blew through it. Y'all get to enjoy the game. Hopefully we get to enjoy the game on Sunday. I'm going to try to be there on Sunday for the scrimmage, so pretty sure it's not going to be streamed this time. So, if I'm allowed to be there, you're going to be able to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll keep you up to date on the game. And, of course, if you're in the Discord and Dash and Chata, you'll be able to keep up to date with everything that's going on even faster. So hit me up. Let me know you're there. But, Herman, thank you, sir, for coming on tonight and keeping me company and just talking Dash, because it was good to see that you were there at the game, and I always enjoy your perspective and your take on the game. Tell people who you are, where they can find you, and what you do, because the Deporte Total USA.
Yes, sir. So my name is German Benitez. I am the Houston beat reporter for Deporte Total USA, which is a media outlet in Spanish. We cover, our sport of coverage is soccer. So anything soccer related in the city of Houston, we cover it, and I'm in charge of covering it here. And we also cover Major League Soccer as a whole. We have a couple of reporters in Miami, Washington, D.C., San Diego, Dallas, etc. So just MLS soccer coverage in the United States in Spanish, Deporte Total USA.
That's what's up. All right, y'all. Y'all heard it here. This is the Dash Dispatch. And Herman, as we always do it, brother, throw them H's up. And we'll see y'all next time.
Me callo. Disparo.
Wow.
Maggie, goal! Gol de Maggie Graham. Gol de Houston. Y de esa forma el marcador ahora 3-0 en favor del aficionados de Houston celebrando. Avery Patterson. Excelente movimiento. Gol de Houston. Kicking and Ascent.